What are the most common misconceptions that people have about the collaborative process and mediation?
I think people who haven't done a lot of reading about it might think, oh, well, that's a bit unofficial. They might think, well, I'm not going to end up with the same thing. Or they might think, well, assets aren't going to be disclosed unless I go to court. If I don't hire a lawyer and we don't go to a judge, then I'm not going to have my day. I'm not going to be heard. And so people worry. I mean, rightly so. These are some of the biggest financial transactions that are going to happen in your life. And you want to make sure that everything's being discussed, everything's being disclosed. So I think people worry that in collaborative practice, their spouse is not going to take it as seriously. And if they are suspicious that their spouse is going to be hiding things, that if they're not in litigation, they're going to have an easier time of it.
When you have somebody who's going back to the high conflict, do you think that a lot of people think that won't work because of the relationship, say the other person is being narcissistic or anything like that? Because I hear that word a lot when it comes to divorce.
Yes.
And I'm sure that in mine that we both each consider each other a narcissist in some way or another. So, and I think that word is maybe used a little too easily.
Mm-hmm.
So does narcissist and collaborative go together?
That's a great question. And you're right. I do hear that word a lot. I think as we get older, we start to think about how we approach the world and how we've ended up in the situation we're in, whatever situation you're in. We reflect. And when there are things that we don't like about the situation we're in, we sometimes look around and we wonder, well, maybe that person's responsible for putting me there. And then we hand the power or the responsibility, and another word is blame, to that person. And then labels like narcissist start coming out because we are looking for somewhere else to lay responsibility for things about our lives that we don't like. Mm-hmm. When people talk to me about their spouse having those kinds of personality disorders, I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not going to be labeling anybody or diagnosing anybody. I'll go back to what I said before. I'll hear you. I hear you. I do understand what it's like to be in that type of a situation. And then I'll say to them, and now we go forward. If I try and dismiss what they're saying, it's not helpful. But we can identify it, and that's the person you married. That's your spouse. And now we go forward.
Yes.